the evolution of the supply chain control tower. I'm speaking today with Mike Jarrett. He is CEO and president of Jarrett Logistics. Hi, Mike.
Hey Bob, how are you today?
Good. Thank you very much for being with me. So, supply chain control tower, not a new concept by any means. I don't even know how many years it's been. It's almost as old as supply chain management itself. However, in modern day applications, what is a supply chain control tower and how has it evolved over all these years?
Well, at the top level, control tower, Bob, is where data and information for the supply chain come into a central point of contact, and the same data and information goes out from that control tower to the recipients, primarily customers and vendors.
Mhm.
That really at the top level is what a control tower is all about. It's centralizing data and information and moving that data and information out to the various recipients.
Mhm. Is it just visibility? Is that all we're learning from a control tower? I mean, what else is a supply chain control tower actually control it?
Oh, it's much more than just visibility. Visibility is a big part of what a control tower, where the value is at. But, over the years, control towers have evolved significantly, primarily with the use of technology and more recently with the use of artificial intelligence. But, my days go back to Caliber Logistics of the early 90s. We were one of the first companies out there in the 3PL space using a control tower process. And
Mhm. Did you call
back
it that at the
then,
time?
yeah, it was called a routing center.
Mm.
And yeah. And so in the early 90s, of course, technology was coming around, but certainly not nearly enough to where, there was a lot of people involvement in using the control tower concept to provide information to our customers. So, going back to early 90s from when I got in the logistics business to where we are today, control towers have evolved significantly in a positive way.
Mm. I feel like they might be a modern day iteration of what was once called a dashboard. Is that the case, or is that something completely different?
Well, no, it's yeah, no, a dashboard is similar. We've got dashboards now in our technology space with 3PLs where, we're providing advanced analytics through dashboards.
Mm. So we
Control
still use them
towers,
and call them by that name then. They're
yeah,
still
that is correct. Dashboards are part of the control tower service offering today to
I
customers for
see.
sure.
I see.
Yes.
I know that, also I seem to recall that early on the first control tower was called a logistics control tower and then became supply chain. I don't know if that's the case, but
Yeah, well, that's how logistics and supply chain has evolved as well over the
exactly.
years.
The word logistics did kind of morph into supply chain, did it not? So,
Yeah.
what are the inputs, Mike? Where does the supply chain control tower get its data, and how does it then integrate with all the various information systems that feed a supply chain?
Well, the most today's world with control towers primarily is through EDI and APIs where the data comes into the control tower.
Mm,
It also, depending on the capabilities of the logistics company as well as the customers, it can come in through as simple as a phone call or an email to the control tower. But really, ultimately, the beginnings of the information that come into the control tower, it's shipment information. And once the shipment information hits the control tower, it's then needs to be acted upon. And so there's a number of levers that we in the 3PL space will use to act upon the shipment information. Essentially, it's to move the shipment through the supply chain to get it from point A to point B as efficiently and quickly and least cost as possible.
Well, how granular is it, Mike? I mean, how much information do you want? Nobody's sitting in front of a screen watching the minute by minute progress of a shipment moving to its destination. Is it exception-based reporting only when something goes off key or off or wrong? Or is it a periodic or what exactly is it?
Well, we use breadcrumb tracking, and so that is minute by minute. Now, that could be, say, an expedite shipment, for example.
Hmm.
A typical LTL or truckload shipment, we're not using breadcrumb tracking to see it minute by minute, but we certainly use that in certain situations. But I would say that it's primarily, the shipment information is brought into the control tower, and there are certain data points that are important to either track or to monitor or to provide analysis to the customer on. So, and again, a lot of that has evolved to where now it's using our artificial intelligence is a big part of what we're using currently, or what's being used in the supply chain space.
Hmm.
And the amount of tracking and visibility can be up to the provider of 3PL services and the customer themselves.
So you set your own parameters as to how
You
often
really
you
can.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
It's not uncommon, quite frankly, for some customers to say, hey, thanks for all this information, but it's too much.
Yeah.
Back that off.
Mhm. Like I said,
And
you can't be
so
staring at it all day. If I'm a consumer waiting for a package, I might be doing that. But if you're
that
in a
is right.
business, it's not quite so easy. Yeah.
Yeah. On the flip side, you might be, say, a company that has a part that caused your production line to go down. And in that case, you want to know minute by minute where that shipment is at. So it does depend on the customer requests and requirements on how much visibility they want.
Hmm. Well, for that matter, a literal control tower. I mean, control tower is a metaphor, obviously, but in the case of a literal control tower, that's serving for the most part, as a basis for human action by air traffic controllers. In a
Yeah.
supply chain control tower, is human action still required? And for that matter, will it always be?
Just depend. That's a great question. Depends on the 3PL. We have a lot of 3PLs out there that are using technology as the focal point for their control towers, kind of their consolidation point for all shipment information. And there's very little human intervention.
Hmm.
Um, I think that what we're seeing in today's world is that there needs to be more human intervention in certain cases. And so, we all use a tremendous amount of technology in this space as 3PLs. But I think in order to maximize the customer experience and provide them with what they want, it's a unique combination of people and technology.
Well, we also hear now you mentioned AI, and with AI, we get that idea, this evolution of starting with descriptive AI and then prescriptive AI, ending up in actually taking action rather than recommending action. Do you
Yeah.
see the supply chain control tower moving in that direction so it's more of a hands-off thing for humans, or will humans always have their hands on the wheel, if I can mix a metaphor here, if you don't mind?
Yeah.
Will they always be in the equation?
It'll be the latter. I think there'll always be human intervention. And I think it depends on the service offering from the logistics company on what level of human intervention they want to employ.
Hmm.
In order to provide the best customer experience, there really needs to be human intervention in the supply chain from the beginning through the end. And what level of human intervention really depends on whether you're a world-class service provider or whether you're a 3PL that is looking at mass customization as your approach. And I
Yeah.
think that does depend on the strategy, really
Hmm.
does.
Yeah. I wonder though, that it's got to be predicated on the ability and willingness of your supply chain partners to provide you, especially your transportation and logistics partners, to provide you with the information you need to know where your shipment is at any given time. Is that an issue? I mean, everybody's have got to be in it, involved in it for it to be of value.
It depends on the customer. Sometimes it is an issue. We have some customers that their ability through using mostly API, which is application program interface.
Hmm.
API is a great way to exchange data electronically. It's the new form of EDI.
Yeah.
So, some customers have the ability to proactively provide us through API with purchase order information. That is before the shipment becomes a shipment. So if you think about the life cycle of a shipment, it starts with an order from a customer. It becomes, a PO in the system of most ERP systems. And then as it goes through the ERP system of our customers, it eventually becomes a shipment, whether it's one case that ships parcel or multiple cases or crates that ship LTL or even truckload. We have the ability now in the 3PL space with the technology that's available to receive PO information before that shipment actually becomes a shipment. That is where we want to be. That's the sweet spot.
Hmm.
Using a control tower to effectively manage shipments, consolidate POs where it makes sense so you reduce your transportation costs. Of course, ESG is a huge component, sustainability in today's supply chain. So
Yeah.
when you consolidate POs into one shipment as opposed to multiple shipments, you're reducing your carbon footprint. There's a lot of things you can do with a control tower if you have the ability to get the data up front.
Thanks so much, Mike, for explaining to me what is a supply chain control tower today, the value of it, and what it might be in the future. I really appreciate your insights. May I take a moment, though, to ask you specifically about Jarrett Logistics? Who are you guys right now, and what do you do in this space?
Absolutely, Bob. I am excited to talk about Jarrett. We started the company 25 years ago. I'm the founder and the CEO. We're family owned, and that's a big deal. We're family owned, and it has allowed us to really focus on what's most important. And for us as an organization, it's our people. For us, it's people and culture. That's what allows us to provide a world-class service to our customers. We're really at an area of our growth as an organization. We provide a number of services to a number of Fortune 500 size companies. And we use the control tower approach to engage with our customers. And, with us, because we're family owned, first of all, our customers are important. That's number one. You will not be a number with Jarrett. Number two, our customers are informed. We use technology through the control tower approach to provide our customers with visibility. And lastly, when customers partner with us, Bob, they're innovative. Because of our ability to scale and provide services at a world-class level, it provides an innovative supply chain for our customers. But most importantly, because we're family-owned, we pay attention to the customer. And we're a people-first, tech-enabled company. What that means is we focus on our people first, and technology, all the technology that we use and employ every day is a tool for our people to use to engage with our customers. So back to the original point about control towers and where they've evolved to, as a 3PL in the space, Jarrett will remain engaged with people to make sure that people is a big part of how we interact with our customers, using our technology, including artificial intelligence, as a tool.
Mike Jarrett of Jarrett Logistics, thank you once again for talking to me today about supply chain control towers, as well as a little bit about Jarrett Logistics itself. Thanks for being with me today.
Yeah, thank you, Bob. Appreciate it.